Built to serve.
First things first, I will take latest drama involving Rodgers and Packers for 1,000, Aaron. We're going to talk some Packers, and we're going to play some Jeopardy! James Harden had to leave last night's game early with an injury. Should Nets fans be concerned despite the win last night? And Brandon's Jets. They did the thing. Traded Sam Darnold to Carolina. We will have all the angles on that one. And with that, we say good Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jen and Nick.
Good morning.
Brandon, our resident Jets fan. And Kevin Wilds. Brandon, does this trade affect your comeback plans? Are you going to have to finally put the ball down?
I don't know. It depends on who we take. If it's Zach Wilson, I'm not coming back. If it's Justin Fields, I'll consider it. We'll see.
Oh, good news.
Big news.
Good to know. Got to factor that in. We'll get to all that in a second, but we got to start with the men's national title game last night, Baylor, Gonzaga. And on this night, the Baylor Bears were the better team by a mile, leading wire to wire in this one as they win their first men's basketball national title. For Gonzaga, after that incredible Final Four win Saturday night, their dreams of a perfect season were dashed. Baylor, your national champs. Here's head coach Scott Drew after the game.
When the best is needed, the best is usually provided. And as RG3 would always say, no pressure, no diamonds. And our guys, the better the opponent, the better they play. And they love being the first. First to win conference since 1950. First to win a national championship. I mean, that really motivates them.
Listen, Baylor they just beat us. They beat us in every facet of the game tonight and deserve all the credit. And obviously we're all disappointed in here, but, you know, as I told the guys, like, you know, you make it this far and you're 31-0 going into the last 40 minutes of the season. There's absolutely nothing you should ever feel bad about. And they'll look back on this season as time passes as something just amazing and incredible. But again, just hats off to Baylor. They dominated us on both sides of the ball.
It's just hard to come back from what Gonzaga did Saturday night. Baylor, just the fifth team ever to defeat both Final Four opponents by 15 points or more. Nick, start with you. Why did last night happen the way it did? Why did it unfold that way?
Because Baylor's better than Gonzaga, and I think Baylor was better than Gonzaga all year long. Listen, Baylor had 2 losses this season, which is why they didn't have the gaudy undefeated record that Gonzaga did. But all records are not created equal. Baylor had a stretch in December where they played 1 game in 17 days. They had a stretch in February where they went 3 weeks without playing, which I think you can say led to their slip-ups against Kansas and Oklahoma State in the Big 12 tournament. Oklahoma State, that is, 2 teams they had beaten in the regular season. But Baylor all year long looked poised to do this. And if you look at the final top 25 rankings prior to the tournament, and you look at who's in it, Baylor has now beaten this season teams 1, 2, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, and 21. They ran roughshod over the best teams in basketball. Conversely, Gonzaga played some pretty good teams early in the season, and then once conference play starts, they play nobody. And then in this NCAA tournament, through no fault of their own, they got a pretty favorable draw because of the upsets, where all of a sudden you're playing USC and UCLA instead of Arkansas and Houston, as Baylor had to go through. And Gonzaga, I think, Brandon, was really damaged by their game back in December with Baylor being canceled, because they were not ready for the physicality, they were not ready for the athleticism, and they were not ready for those 2 pros in the Gonzaga in the Baylor backcourt. So I know this was an upset, but I don't think it was an upset as far as the inferior team winning. I think Baylor's better than Gonzaga, and they showed it for 40 full minutes last night.
Right, and if we just stick to last night, Nick, Jalen Suggs goes down early because he's in foul trouble. 2 fouls early. Then Baylor Bears, what do? They go on the run. They were too fast, too explosive. They were too much. Gonzaga never had that run. Gonzaga never had a chance after that. That was the story. That was the end of the story. And then after that, when you look at the bigger picture, Baylor finished the job. Let's not forget. Let's go back to the end of last year. Entering the tournament, they were the #1 seed. They won 23 games in a row before COVID-19 hit and the tourney was canceled. So they finished the job. Baylor did not. It's terrible because I think we all deep down wanted to see a perfect season. It's been since, 1975, 76 season
76.
that we saw 76 that we saw an undefeated team finish the job. So deep down, and like I said yesterday, in my heart, I wanted Gonzaga to pull it off, but my head told me that the Baylor guards were way too much. And from the start, from the tip-off, they were way too explosive and way too fast, wild, and they didn't have a chance.
I totally agree, Brandon. I was shocked by how quickly this game was over. Because, Nick, you know who else came into a big championship match undefeated? Michael Spinks, 31-0. And then he faced Mike Tyson. 90 seconds, match is over. And that's exactly what happened to Gonzaga. This is just the first 90 seconds. Baylor wins the tip. They end up getting 3 offensive rebounds. They get their hands on 2 passes. They're not really deflections because they ended up going to say, but 2 deflections, and they get a charge call. Okay, and that was it. And poor Bill Rafferty is like, these early leads are deceiving. Don't think too much about it. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. When you see how the game played out, the offensive rebounds, Gonzaga ends up getting 5. Baylor gets 16. Baylor gets 8 steals. Gonzaga gets 4. The lead balloons up to 20. This was over so quickly. I was shocked that it felt more like a boxing match than a basketball match, Nick. A basketball match?
Well, I'm not shocked that when Wilds needed to go to his historical sports archive of what's an instance of someone or some team being undefeated and not finishing the job, he went Spinks Tyson as opposed to his beloved Patriots Giants because he's memory hold that game and he's pretending. What, Wilds? What? I'm wrong?
Wasn't over.
I'm wrong. The Spinks Tyson
one was
You know what team no one gave a shot to? The old Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Kansas City Chiefs got Ndamukong Suh punching him in the helmet.
They weren't undefeated.
I could have said that. I could have gone that one.
Not undefeated.
Nice to you.
But speaking of undefeateds, I understand. Listen, I heard Jay Billis say that he will remember this Gonzaga team forever. I won't. Like, this was a really good team that was had
it's too
a
soon.
No, hold on. It's not too soon. This was a really good team that had a great player in Suggs. Okay, well, so let me give you a couple other examples because I just want to know your favorite memory from the 2015 magical Wichita State Shockers or 2014. Wait, there's none. So here are the undefeated teams that were entered the tournament undefeated since Indiana. 79, we remember. That's Larry Bird, and they lost to Magic Johnson. 91 UNLV, one of the greatest teams ever, lost in one of the greatest games ever against Duke. Wichita State Shockers lost in the round of 32 to Kentucky, and then that Kentucky team that had Booker and Karl Anthony Towns, they couldn't finish the job. This Gonzaga team is a lot more Wichita State Shocker than it is 91 UNLV running Rebels. And college basketball folks got mad at me yesterday because I said even if they won, I don't think this will go down in history as one of the 10 greatest college teams ever, even though they were undefeated. And I think you saw why that was last night.
The better team won last night. Baylor, your national champs. Yeah, much more on this, though.
Body's still warm.
to come. We got to talk some Aaron Rodgers, though. Is his future in Green Bay in jeopardy? See what I did there? Check out this moment from Jeopardy.
Poor kids is crying.
Over to our two-day champion on the end. Scott, did you come up with the correct response? Who wanted to kick that field goal? That is a great question. Should be correct, but unfortunately for this game today, that's incorrect.